Do you ever have days when nothing feels exciting and everything just feels, I don't know, flat? Not sad, not burnt out, just a bit stuck and fed up. And if that's you, there's a real reason for it. And it can feel like depression, but it's not. And the idea is that by the end of this video, you'll know why this flatness happens and what it really means. And I'll give you a few simple ways to shift the state without forcing yourself into fake positivity, which I'm never a big fan of. So hi, I'm Mercedes and I work with the nervous system and teach people how to live in a steady, grounded way. I've spent years studying my own patterns. I have ADHD, I've burnt out and all sorts of emotional cycles and different things that have happened and trauma and things in my life. And I've noticed something that might help you understand this flat phase much more clearly. And that's what's come up in my own life. So really I'm sharing this from my experiences and hopefully it can help you to kind of get a bit deeper. So sometimes you can go through phases, and I will have it mostly when I wake up in the morning, but I can have it sometimes for the whole day, where I feel kind of this flat feeling. And it's not like a lack of motivation or anything like that. It's just a restless feeling, but also flat as well. So life can feel dull, even when things are technically going well. So you're looking at your life and you think, well, actually, this is positive, that's positive, that's positive. So I should be feeling really great, but I just don't. And it's not like a hopeless feeling because you don't feel like, oh my goodness, my life's over. You just kind of feel stuck in neutral. So you're kind of like, you look at your life and think, I'm just kind of ticking through the motions and going through the motions, and that's great, but where am I going with it? And this can happen when your nervous system has some energy going on, but there's no clear direction for where you want to use that energy. So you're not in collapse and you're not fully activated. So you're not in fully fight or flight. So you're just kind of like there ticking along with a little bit of anxiety and stress, but also in a bit of freeze mode as well. So you've kind of got a bit of both happening. And I have talked about this before, but this is kind of coming up in a slightly different way. And what I want to talk about is how your brain makes this worse. Because what happens is we get this flat feeling and the nervous system is just sending messages back to the brain. So it's sending the messages up and this is how it feels. So what the brain does is then think, or the mind, I have to create a story around this. So it may be things like my life is boring, nothing I do matters, I'm just doing things. What's the point in everything that I'm doing? Like it's kind of like you can get that repeat going on in the brain over and over again. But these thoughts are coming from the state that you're in, not the truth of your life. And it's always important to kind of bring that perspective into it because it's really easy to then start believing the stories that you tell yourself and not really like sitting with them properly, not really realizing that actually that is just a story you're telling yourself. So when that happens, it's because your nervous system is understimulated. So your nervous system is sending these messages back, these messages of the body's not quite it's feeling a bit restless, but a bit flat as well, a bit understimulated, but a bit stimulated, it's quite a confusing state. And your mind just tries to label it. So it's trying to come up with a reason. Why would I feel like this? But often the label is wrong because it's not clear. So the brain just has to come up with something. And when you can realize that it's just a state that you're in, it's not a life crisis, you don't have to try and rewrite everything and do all of that, then it feels a lot better. So often our brains can swing into understimulation after we've had really strong periods. And this is especially true for somebody who has ADHD, but it can happen to anybody. So you have an extended period where you work really, really hard or you do something that's really intense. And then afterwards, the brain or the body, everything switches into understimulation. So it's still got some energy there, but that energy is not being stimulated, it's not being used. And your system's tired, but it's not depleted. And you're a little bit kind of wired, but there's no inspiration of what to do with that. Kind of like, what can I do with this energy that's coming up? I don't know what to do with it. I haven't got anywhere to put it. And there's lots of things that can come in. So you can have lots of tasks going on that can help to make that worse. Scrolling on social media can make it worse. All of these things can come in and actually agitate the situation and make the feelings worse. And when you don't have enough meaningful stimulation, it can make everything feel a bit pointless. And again, we then start to think, well, maybe I'm not living my purpose, and maybe my life is not purposeful enough, and maybe this. But actually, the truth is, it's not about your purpose. It's not about how much purpose you're living with. It's about the state that you're in. And when we can learn to regulate that, then we can come back and kind of change things. So what we want to do is figure out how we shift this state so that we don't allow the mind to take over and feed those stories back down, so then we would just get stuck in a feedback loop. So one of the things you can do is add a tiny dose of novelty to your life. And something like this can actually shift so much and you wouldn't even believe it. So if you walk somewhere on a regular basis, can you walk a new route? So just that change can be like, oh, this is new. Or moving furniture around in your house can help. You don't have to move it all. I have had done that in the past. It takes a lot of time and energy. But moving, say, one piece of furniture might do enough to kind of shift the energy for you. Or if you go for a coffee on a regular basis, can you go to somewhere different? Just go to a different coffee shop and try that out. And when you start the day, rather than just doing what you always do a new task first and see how that goes for you. And that micro novelty can help you to feel alive. And that particularly if you suffer from ADHD and you struggle from getting bored very easily, then doing that can help to just give you that little bit of novelty every day or on a regular basis, so that you shift out of that life is boring, I'm understimulated, I don't know what to do, everything feels a bit pointless mindset, and come into something a bit more positive. So, and then the other thing to do is to reduce digital noise, especially social media. Because if your system is overstimulated, right? So we're understimulated, but also we've got over input. So our purpose and our drive and our positiveness is understimulated. So we've got nowhere to put that. But we're then being overstimulated by other noise, but we're not nourishing that. So we've kind of got understimulation on one side and overstimulation on the other. And we're not feeding our soul. So everything feels a bit off. So if we remove the noise that is doing the overstimulation on the other side, that's kind of bringing in noise that you don't need, and then that's kind of disrupting everything else, you give your whole system room to breathe, and then you give it time to be nourished and to then stimulate in the direction that it wants to be stimulated in, if that makes sense. I'm not sure I'm explaining that 100% right, but that's kind of like where you want to go with it. And then the other thing to do when you feel that flat feeling, because, and I've spoken about this before, when you're flat, your energy tends to be quite down and low and kind of down. So we want to shift the energy up with a bit of movement. So we're not talking about full workout or going on a 5k run, or you can if you want to, if that's your thing. Was mine once upon a time. It just seems to have disappeared out of my life, but you never know, it might come back. So you don't have to do a full workout, just a bit of movement. So it might be walking a new route around your neighbourhood, or doing a new dance, or putting a new song on. Maybe, like, my son likes to listen to on Spotify Friday Firsts. So all the songs that are released on a Friday, we have to listen to them on Friday. It's Friday today, so when I pick him up from school, I'm sure that's what we'll have to listen to in the car. And something like that. So you get something new, some new music and you can dance to, can help to shift. You're getting the novelty and the movement at the same time. And just kind of trying to bring a little bit of movement with a bit of novelty in can really help. And the other thing I would say, and this is really important to remember, is when you are in this state, don't make big decisions, because your brain, your mind is clouding your judgment, because it's sensing this nervous system state and it's clouding your judgment. So the decisions you make won't necessarily be the decisions that feel right for you in the long term. So when you're in this state, things can actually lack meaning or feel meaningless or feel purposeless. So if you try and fix your life from here, then you're going to end up with a problem, because your mind isn't really sure how to fix it. So the idea in this state is just to support your body first, get yourself back into a positive rhythm. And often we build up patterns. So if we are feeling flat, we can get stuck in the momentum of feeling flat. And if we can do stuff to shift ourselves out of that, we can shift ourselves into the momentum of positive energy, positive state. And then we're in a much better position to make decisions. So those are your tips. So just to recap so that we remember, is add a tiny dose of novelty that can help reduce digital noise and other noise you don't need to have. Move your body for 10 to 15 minutes and don't make any big decisions. So just remember that flatness doesn't mean that your life is wrong. It's just a sign that your nervous system needs gentle stimulation, not pressure. And once your state shifts, your clarity returns, and you're not failing, you're just human, right? This kind of stuff happens all the time. So if you found this video useful, remember, drop a comment, let me know what you think, or like and subscribe, or do both. That would be fantastic. And if you want more, like a deeper connection, more practices, more ways to kind of live your life in the way that I'm describing, then join my group, The Sacred Pause. The link is in the description, and I'd love to see you on the inside.